What up? This is Rama Screen, and in the anticipation of Night of the Sicario, which arrives in theaters April 16th and on demand and on digital April 20th, I'm here talking with the director of this new film, Joth Riggs. How are you, Joth?
Hey, Rama, very good. Thank you.
Good. Thank you for taking the time. Congratulations on the film. You've been in this business for a long while as second unit director, as first AD. So, what made you decide that you wanted to now be the director, and why on such a project as Night of the Sicario? In other words, what is it about Matthew and Ernesto's script that compelled you to mark this as your feature directorial debut?
Yeah, you know what? When I turned down a lot of films to direct, and for this one, I felt like, oh man, this one's exciting. This one's fun. It's got a lot of action. I want in.
Well, having been second unit or first AD over the years on a lot of projects, including End of Days, what were some of the methods that you observed and learned and took away from the directors on those sets that you also applied, then you then applied onto the set of Night of the Sicario?
Yeah, well, it's interesting working with as many directors as I have. You learn a lot. You learn a lot from the great directors, and frankly, I learn even more from the terrible directors.
Huh.
I'm like, okay, that didn't work. Let's not do it that way. So there's a lot of different takeaways. Mainly, it's how to work with the actors. I mean, I understand how to run a film set. That's really what I've done a lot. But working with the actors is really what I learned with the great directors, and we had some fantastic actors in this film that made my job really easy.
Let me ask you before I go further, what made you jump into this business in the first place? I think it's 1992, was it? Your first one?
92 was my first
Yeah.
feature. Yeah, I was an intern on Pet Cemetery
Wow.
2. You know what? I've always loved storytelling, and I actually made a lot of small movies with my friends in high school. I was
Hmm.
actually in a band, and we made music videos. And my band members kept wanting to make music, and I just kept wanting to make more videos. And so we ended up making a bunch of shorts. I had a great time, and decided I wanted to do it professionally, and kept right on going. So yeah, I've done about over 100 movies and TV shows.
Let's talk about some of the interesting creative choices in this film, Night of the Sicario. I really like that sequence when the SUV carrying the girl got attacked because the angle throughout that whole sequence came from inside the vehicle, as opposed to, from the outside showing the blast itself. Very immersive. Immersive. It makes you feel like you're in there with them. What were the challenges of making this film on an independent budget, and what were some of the things that you did to go around them in order to get the shots that you needed?
Well, you just pointed one out as a great example where it was very intentional to be. I wanted to be inside the vehicle as it happened because, I mean, it's funny. This movie is actually called Blindsided overseas,
Hmm.
and the whole point is that I wanted the viewers to feel just as blindsided by that attack as our characters were. Um, so so as a result, yeah, I wanted to be entirely inside that and follow that whole accident all the way through from their point of view. And then, of course, the cartel starts firing on them, and it's a very terrifying place for them to feel upside down, locked in this SUV as it crashed. So that was one of the things that it also happens to be budget friendly to do it that way. But it was really a creative decision initially.
Natasha Henstridge, we knew her best for the Species franchise, of course. She has done her fair share of action thrillers in the past. Was she your first choice for the lead role of Taylor Ward? And how did she get on board the Night of the Sicario?
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of our producers had worked with her before, and so they suggested her, and I thought she was a fantastic choice, and she was great to work with. She was a lot of fun. The thing about her character is
Mm.
that there's really two sides to her. Um, she has a tender heart because she's looking out for the girl. She's looking out for her residents and the home that she runs. Um, but as a result, just like a mama bear, she had to defend against some pretty scary guys, and she did it. She kicked butt and did what she had to do to protect the people in her charge. And so Natasha in particular did a great job of playing both the soft and tender and uh, the get it done character at the same time. It was really great, and she was a pleasure to work with.
You brought that up. I gotta ask. There's a there are several elderly actors in this film. So how did you make sure that they can go through the action stuff safely? And it seems like they're really hands on too. One of them even like shot a bullet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that was really intentional too. She has 5 seniors in this senior home that she runs. And
Hmm.
I wanted to make sure that they weren't, they weren't wall decorations in the movie. They're active participants. And that was really important to me. Those characters are very involved. I mean, look, people with a lot of wisdom and experience like they've got something to bring.
Hmm.
And so, there were aspects of fighting off the evil doers that they were able to contribute to. That was it was very unique, in that sense. In terms of safety in the action, obviously we kind of isolated them to the extent that we could. I mean, there were certainly no safety concerns the way we handled the shoot and so on, but it was fun to watch them, you know, do their part as well.
And none of them actually said the Murtaugh word. I'm too old for this. So they actually did it. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
when
And same when we were shooting, they all had fun. They were all gung ho. Let's do this.
Exactly. When Hollywood depicts the cartel and the DEA, what do you think what do you think Hollywood usually got right and got wrong about it? And what did you intend to do differently on that aspect with Night of the Sicario?
That's a great question. I really wanted to make sure that we didn't have 2D cardboard cutout bad guys.
Hmm.
All right, these sicarios that come in, they've got their own stories. And there was even some conflict among the guys. They had their own personal motivations for being there. They aren't just robots that are sent out to kill people. They have their own backstory, their own reason for being there, and so on. And that was really important to me. And that's why there was even some conflict between them, because their motivations, one had his motivation, one had his, and they were a little divergent. Which gave those characters some depth and some realism. So they weren't just guys running around with guns. That's not real.
So now that you've got your feature directorial debut arriving, what's next on your horizon? Are you working on developing your second directorial film?
Yeah, actually, I am. I have another action thriller that's in the works right now, and we'll be slating to shoot later this year, and it's going to be bigger and better. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
All right, for my fans at home, everybody go check out Night of the Sicario, arriving in theaters April 16th and on demand and on digital April 20th. Joth, thank you for talking to me and congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Rama. Appreciate it.